This is one of our absolute favorite meals and I wanted to share it with you all. So here I'm starting with my sesame oil in the pan with the ground beef. Sesame oil is so good. It is now my most used cooking oil and I highly recommend purchasing this because it really adds to the flavor. As you can see here, I'm breaking up the beef in the pan just to get that cooking process going. In this step, I am taking 2 cups of water and putting it in a small pot and we'll be bringing it to a boil. This will end up being for the instant rice that I will be making for this meal. My pan is set at about a 6 out of 10, so kind of medium heat, just a little bit more than medium. I find that it's the perfect temperature for the sesame oil and the beef. Here I am adding some crushed red pepper. This is a step that if you want your meat a little bit more mild, you can certainly add less. We really like spicy foods in this household, so I add quite a bit. And then I am also adding some sesame seeds to the meat mixture as well. In this step, I have the water boiling, the 2 cups, and I am adding the rice to the boiling water. Instant rice is a 1-to-1 ratio, so for every cup of water is a cup of rice. So I'm just tossing the rice in there, getting it out of the measuring cup, and ensuring that I'm giving it a good stir and taking it off of the heat. In this next step, I am taking a package of pre-cut matchstick carrots and I am putting them into the pan. I kind of vary the amount of carrots that I put in. Sometimes I put in more, sometimes I put in less. Especially if I just need to use up a bag, I'll put in more. They really do add a lot of texture and flavor to this, and I let them cook down for a couple of minutes just so that they get a little bit soft. After I've let the carrots cook down a little bit, I start to add additional ingredients that kind of create a sauce or additional flavor. So in this first step, you'll see me add 3 tablespoons of packed dark brown sugar, and then my next step is to add some low sodium soy sauce, and I add 4 tablespoons to the meat mixture of the soy sauce. And you can see me dumping this directly on the brown sugar. It just kind of helps it dissolve. You don't have to do this. It's just a weird habit that I have when I make this meal. So then my next step in this is just to stir it up a little bit, get the brown sugar incorporated. Obviously when you're cooking with anything that has sugar in it, it has the chance of getting burnt a little bit easier, so I just like to incorporate it into the meat and the carrots and let it start to cook and get the flavor soaked into the meat and the carrots. And then the last step of creating the sauce flavor is adding some sriracha. Again, this is a step in which you can add less and make it a more mild flavor. We like things very spicy in our household, so I, as you can see, added quite a bit. For this last step, I usually cut up 4 to 6 green onions, and I will add about a quarter of the onions to the meat mixture, and I do that for like the last 30 seconds to 60 seconds of the cooking process just to bring out that beautiful green color and mix it into all of the rest of the ingredients. And then it really does add some great flavor and texture, but it also makes this dish even more visually appealing. My next step is to take the rice and give it a good fluff. I definitely would recommend doing this just to make sure there's no clumps and make sure that there's no residual water in the bottom of the pot. So you can see I'm fluffing it up a little bit, and this will make it much easier for plating, as you can see here. I usually do put this in a bowl just because it makes it a little bit easier to eat. So I start with rice in the bottom. And then I top it with our meat, carrots, and green onions here. I do try to drain off any residual like grease or liquid. But I do like to do some garnishes, so I add some sesame seeds on top. And then I will also top with more green onions. The green onions just add so much flavor to this, and I will not make it without any green onions. And there you have it.